What's up, everybody? It's the Endless Boss Battle Podcast, episode 15. It's the same people as always. We got Scuba and Snorlaxicus.
As always.
I've been posting on Twitter lately that I'm trying to get some people in for episodes. We'll see how that goes. But I am really, really eager to have some people on to chat about some stuff. I think that'd be sweet.
Yeah, man, it'll be real cool if some people want to come out and be guests. That'd be sick.
I know our one episode we did have a guest was really fun. It's nice having other opinions and like not knowing them and their interests as much as I know you and your interests. You know.
Yeah. I know there's been a few times I've asked people on Twitter, and a lot of people are super shy about it, but like we're pretty chill dudes, so there ain't really too much to be worried about.
This episode we are going to be talking about, is animation quality more important than good writing? There's been a lot of examples that have come up lately. A lot of people talking about certain things, but we'll hit you with the news first, and then we'll get to that. First up is Netflix announced they're producing an anime called Eden. It's premiering in 2020. It's going to be 4 episodes, I believe.
Oh.
Let's see.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, 4 episode original anime. The specs on this are sweet. We got the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood director, the Cowboy Bebop designer, and the music composer that did Made in Abyss and Shield Hero. So it's like you really can't go wrong with any of that info.
Yeah.
Like
I might have gave Shield Hero a pretty bad score, but like the opening was fire, dude.
Yeah, I think I mean the music going through the background of Shield Hero and Made in Abyss, like a lot of people say that's what makes things like Made in Abyss. So this is stacked. I think 4 episodes is like it'll be a quickie, but I think that there'll be a nice quick story to tell. I think 4 episodes is a perfect amount to get like a little arc across.
Yeah. Knowing them, if this is an OVA, it could be 4 like 1-hour episodes.
Oh yeah.
So there's always that too, which I mean would really just boil down to like 12 episodes really, if each one's about 20 minutes. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it'll be real good, man. I'm real excited.
I really dig that picture. I don't know why, but the first thing I thought of was like Adventure Time.
Yeah, it's something
I immediately thought of that.
The way the hills and stuff are designed and like how green it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks real good, man. I'm excited.
It's gonna be super cool. If anyone that had a part in Bebop comes along and does anything, I'm already jumping on board. So, yeah, I'll be there. But 2020, it's a while from now, so we'll keep you updated when we get more info on that. But the next bit of info, which is a big deal to us over here at the Endless Boss Battle, the Berserk manga is finally resuming after an 8-month hiatus. I did not know that it was 8 months.
Oh yeah, dude. We've been waiting.
Who knows how long before it's once again on hiatus. I'm not really one that's like that likes to go at people for deciding to go on hiatus. Like I think whenever you have the quality to hit us with, like I'll easily find something to pass the time. So I hope it keeps going at a decent rate. But yeah, I heard it's supposed to be going towards the end, but it might be one of those like Gintama moments where it's like, yeah, I'm supposed to be finishing this, but I can't. seem to find an ending.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I really hope that it doesn't end like that, because I feel like Berserk deserves a good ending, and it deserves an ending soon. Uh, like, the dude goes on hiatus a lot, and I don't think it's because he's completely fallen out with it, but like I mentioned before, he has a lot of other passions and things he likes to do, like the Love Live games and stuff like that. He's just all about them. So I think for like the health of the manga and the health of that dude, he should probably just wrap it up, to be honest, and like, you know, write out a decent ending. Just sit down, crank it out, and then never touch it again, in my opinion.
Well, some people are like the thing is, if you have, don't rush the ending, of course.
Yeah.
But like, I would love to just have it be completely rounded out. Like it finishes up, and then we're all good. You know, like I can actually pitch it out as something that has been completed. Because I mean, it's been so long. It says he launched the manga in 1989.
Yeah, man.
That's insane.
Yeah, dude. It's like
And one complete, like, one thing. It's not like JoJo's, you know, where like there's different generations or anything. Like, we've been with Guts since 1989. Well, we haven't, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. There's dudes that started reading Berserk, waiting for Berserk to end, that just have like died, just because it's just such a long gap between it finishing. You know, it's like dudes waiting for One Piece to end.
Yeah.
Like, dudes are gonna be out here like. There will be people that are like, I cannot wait for the ending of One Piece, and it's just such a long gap that you probably won't see it in your lifetime. I kind of feel like with the way Berserk's going, if the hiatuses like that continue, either the author is going to die, or I'm not gonna live to see the end of it.
Yeah. It's sort of like you know, while everyone's on the Game of Thrones wave right now, it's like the author of that is an old man. Like, he's not. I think, you know, we've all kind of accepted with that at this point that like it just doesn't look like those books are gonna end. And like, for a dude that was getting into them when like the 5th and most recent book was released, like in like 2013 or something, to expect something like that and then just be like, wow, it's not really looking like I'm gonna get the finished product. It's just kind of annoying. And like, I would much rather just have something finished, you know?
Yeah.
Especially with this whole collection thing. Like, we've been on this manga collecting spree lately, and I watched so many manga collections of people that were like, yeah, this is a really good series that I have, but just kind of ended all of a sudden, and the last volume seemed like it was going somewhere, and then they just said, yeah, fuck it, we're not doing it anymore. And like, I would hate for that to happen with Berserk, man, of all things.
Yeah, of all things, dude.
So yeah, check that out. It's on April 26th, it looks like.
Yeah.
So check that out. Next up, very sad news. The Lupin the Third creator, Monkey Punch, passed away at the age of 88 due to pneumonia. I really like what you said earlier, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and let you say that about like, you know what I'm saying? How you were like, it made you want to look more into.
Oh yeah. So like, when I was younger, I would watch like Lupin the Third when it came on Adult Swim and stuff, and I would just like casually like just watch an episode here or there because it was always on the block that was like really late at night, like 4 a.m. and going to school, I was never really up that late, so I would either wake up early and watch some of it, or go to bed and like not be able to sleep and end up watching some of it. But that was about all I had watched of Lupin the Third. Was just a few episodes here and there, and now that the dude has passed away, it makes me want to go and watch it out of like respect. And I feel that way with a lot of things. Like I was telling you earlier, when David Bowie died, I listened to all of his albums like nonstop for a week. Just, I was never a big fan of David Bowie, but it's just out of respect. Like same thing with Prince. When Prince died, I just listened to all of Prince's stuff for a week just to like experience it and kind of like respect the dude's life. So I feel like I do that with a lot of things, and anime and manga are definitely similar. So I will probably be watching as much Lupin the Third as I possibly can uh, within the next few weeks, even if it's just here and there, just out of respect for the dude, because Lupin the Third was just such a like monumental part of anime.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Like you have so many shows, like we talked about Dororo was one of like the grandfathers of anime, and you got like the Dragon Ball series that paved its own way and things like that. And I feel like Lupin never really got a lot of credit for what it did, but I
It
also
just kind of stuck around, you know?
yeah
Like it says here, he launched the first Lupin the Third was created in 1965.
yeah
So it was, I mean,
it
it was
was
around there with Dororo and like Astro Boy and stuff.
Yeah, it was one of the founders, and I feel like not a lot of people give it a lot of attention. But I feel like with the creator passing away and more people going back and watching it or like reading the old Lupin series, um, I feel like people are definitely gonna like get that feeling, and
Hmm.
I don't know. I recognize it as one of the goats. It's probably like if we're talking top 10 anime or manga of all time based on the impact it had on the industry, I would say it's top 5.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for sure. So that's my
It
thoughts on it.
it's a bummer that it takes a death to get into something, but it's also like our friend Sam at work was saying earlier, like how music, when someone passes away, they make more money than when the person was alive when the death is announced or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's a sad fact, but it's also, I think a lot of the people have the same thought that we do. Like, I didn't really listen to XXXTentacion, but when he passed away, I listened to the albums just to get a glimpse into the world of this guy, you know. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I like looking at it that way. It's a celebration.
I think it's because people want to they want to remember someone when they pass away. And if you're not a fan of their music or you never check them out, you don't really have any memory like cemented. You just like, oh hey, this person passed away. For me, it's like I like experiencing their life through music and their creations when they die as a celebration, like you said, so that I can remember, like, I didn't get that big into Lupin the Third, but I started watching it and got really into it to celebrate the creator's life,
Hmm.
and it's a really good show, So, yeah, I feel like, I feel like that show and his life definitely have an impact on me and building myself into like for the future. Um, but yeah, man, like that's about all I got to say about that. Like I'm gonna watch it for sure, and I don't. I think it is kind of upsetting that you only check like people will only check things out when people die, but also like it like you said, it's almost like as if it were a celebration of their life.
Mm-hmm. It's like
And
we're never Lupin the Third's never gonna just vanish. You know, like
yeah,
we have something that he created that we can go to, and that's really cool.
yeah, yeah, I
So,
agree. It's like watching old Bruce Lee movies, like after he died. Like you
hmm
always have that to go back to, and like Enter the Dragon and stuff like that. Like you can always go back and look at what point in his life like he was prominent as an actor and all of these other things, man. Like I love it.
for sure. Next up, out of nowhere, Joker was added to Smash Bros. Um, you know a lot more about how he plays, it seems, than I do. I haven't really checked into anything other than the fucking bomb ass stage he got
Oh,
that
dude,
features the
yeah.
Persona 3, 4, and 5 music.
Yes.
That's so cool.
And the stage changes based on which music you're using.
hmm
Yeah, man. Joker's
And
sick.
it's cool. He has his own unique ending stage, which is when you defeat the enemy, and he's like doing the run in
Yeah.
Persona 5.
It's like
That
an
was
endless
awesome.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah. He seems pretty cool. His moveset's pretty sick. He has his own he has his persona back in this one. I forget what the name of it is. I think it starts with an A.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. It basically I abandoned it in Persona 5.
Yeah. um but he's got a bunch of cool move sets, you know. He's got the blammy. He's got the pistol.
Oh yeah, he's got a gut. That's the most important thing. Is that they were so big on not letting, like he said, no guns, right?
Yeah.
And Snake couldn't get a gun, and then they were just like, you know what? Let's give this high school kid a fucking blammy.
A fucking gun and like a knife, like a switchblade. Like crazy, man. But,
Weird.
yeah, he seems like a pretty cool character mechanically as well. He's got like the grappling hook where he can hook onto the ends of stages. He's got his own like little meter that fills up that he can summon his persona and like do a bunch of cool shit with. Yeah, he's pretty solid. Good addition. The Persona games are just like amazing. Anything in the Shin Megami Tensei universe, I usually end up falling in love with. So yeah, yeah. I'm really glad that they dropped him. It was like it had been teased, and there were a lot of trailers about him being teased out, but there was no gameplay trailers of him at all. Like
Yeah.
nothing. And then just literally all at once, Nintendo was like, "Here's Joker. He's coming out tomorrow." Like here's the stage editor, which
It's wild. It's wild because like, and now people, man, the Twitter community has been so weird about this. Like, you have one half of people that are like, "Wow, this is so fucking cool! Like, I made Joker now. Check out all this cool new Joker things." And then you have other people that are like, "Oh, fuck Persona 5. Persona 3's way better." And it's
yeah.
like, yo,
Then
you just want attention.
then you got me that's like, fuck Persona 5 and fuck Persona 3. Persona 4 is better.
But it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's weird that this dude gets added to Smash Bros. And then you're like, oh, I need to just hop online and let everyone know that Persona 5's trash. And it's like,
It's
come
like
on, man.
Persona 5 isn't even a bad game, so like fans of the
No.
series shouldn't even be that upset. They're just butthurt that their Persona 3 characters didn't get put into the game, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Like deal with it. You know, Persona wouldn't be as popular as it is right now if it wasn't for Persona 5 like
That's true.
breaking the mold with like normal people. Like you had
Mhm.
normal dudes playing Persona 5. You would have said that to me like 3 years ago, I would have been like, what the fuck? No. There's
Right.
no way.
It was like one of the greatest games of 2016.
Yeah, dude.
If not the, like that. I think my game of the year was between that and Overwatch, if that was 2016.
Yeah, so it's like people should just be happy that their game got exposure and that it's not like at risk of never continuing like so
For sure.
many other games are.
Like, we're not hating on the other personas at all. Like, we can still enjoy those. Just like that's like if when Cloud came out, if I was like, well, yeah, but like Squall's way better. Like Final Fantasy VIII's, oh yeah, Final Fantasy VII's trash and Final Fantasy VIII's the best. It's like, dude, I'm just glad that a Final Fantasy character got added. I don't have any room to shit on that for happening. Like, come on.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, some people are ridiculous, man.
Next up, another fighting game announcement, and I'm so unbelievably hyped. You guys already know Bakugo is my dude. And Jump Force announced that in the next DLC, or not the next, I guess it's just they announced DLC, and after the Kaiba and All Might reveal, Bakugo has been announced, as well as Hunter x Hunter's Biscuit Kruger, Dragon Ball Z's Majin Buu, Naruto's Uchiha, One Piece's D Water Law, Bleach's Toshiro and Grimjaw, and then Baksugo. Baksugo.
How you think he's gonna play?
Oh, I don't know. I just know when he does come out, like, I'm actually gonna get pretty serious about the game, because, like, I'm gonna say I was low-key salty that he wasn't announced, but since it was just Deku, I couldn't really, complain about anything.
Yeah.
But I was also like, man, I really hope more My Hero characters get added, because, like, there's so many awesome characters that could play, and, yeah, I don't know. I think in the series he's shown enough unique qualities that they can give him a decent moveset. You know, like the little precision explosion bullets that he shoots.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like, I think that's going to be fucking awesome.
Do you think that this will be enough for you to pick the game up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Like, once that hits, I'm assuming the game will have some kind of sale, and I'll be able to pick it up for like $30. I don't mind dropping $30 to get it.
Yeah.
Even if I don't feel like it's, anything groundbreaking. It's so cool thinking about being Bakugo and fighting like Kaiba and shit.
Yeah, dude. Well, if the squad gets it, I'm gonna get it. That's not how anything is.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's basically how it goes. If a friend picks it up, like right now, I have Dead or Alive as my priority next game pickup, but yeah, I'm still really about getting this.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Even though I'm not too interested in any of the DLC here, aside from maybe Grimjaw, the game's got Kenshiro. That's all I need, man.
Oh yeah,
Kenshiro's so dope. I'll pick the game up.
A lot of people like Bisky from Hunter x Hunter, but I really didn't like that character, so yeah, I really wish they would have added another Hunter x Hunter character, but I'm gonna contain how much that upsets me, and we can just move on.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, regardless, Bakugo getting announced, that's so fucking cool. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for news.
Yeah. Now we can move on to the big topic.
A lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff. So to our topic of the episode: is animation quality more important than good writing? A lot of things brought this up. We have all this talk about One Punch Man's studio change and how it's not as good as season one. We also have a lot of people arguing on that fact that they're like, I don't watch One Punch Man for the animation, I watch One Punch Man for the story. And manga readers, they talk about One Punch Man religiously, and with good reason. So there's so many different things that we can bring up, and I guess we can just start with: is there a yes or no answer for you on this question?
For me, if I had to choose, if I had to pick yes or no on this question, I'd say yes, because with manga, it's one thing. Like, we were talking at work earlier about how Mob Psycho's manga isn't really that well drawn out, but the writing is really good. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with manga, you can kind of get away with that a little bit easier. But when you have animation, the biggest example, which shouldn't be any surprise, is Berserk 2016. Like, the story is there, and yes, I did still watch it because it was still the Berserk story, but the animation was just so bad that I had to contemplate multiple times on just not watching it and dropping it midway through. And I feel like even if you have a show that has god-tier writing and you have horrible animation, it can be so jarring that the writing won't keep you as involved as it should be.
I think that, like, with Berserk is a really good example on how it's like good writing can't even save you in this situation.
Yeah.
And it's like, but even still then, it's like, I can't tell you how many shows I've seen that were artistically so impressive, but the writing just was such a failure. And I was like, what a waste of time. Like, just as much as good writing can't save great or bad animation, it goes both ways.
Yeah, I
got lost in there, but yeah. I don't know. I think Mob Psycho's animation, especially with season 2, like, we really can't say anything bad about Mob Psycho's animation, but at the same time, like, you can tell how they still kept the bad, not bad, I don't want to say bad, but the basic designs of people. So where in regular conversation, it's nothing impressive. You have Mob talking to Reagan and, like, they're eating some food or whatever, and it's like, this is just okay.
Yeah.
But the fights are obviously like 11 out of 10. So it's sort of like, with manga, you can have something like Goodnight Pun Pun, which we've been reading lately, and it's like, it's nothing groundbreaking, but the story is super fucking good, right?
Yeah.
But you have this little Woodstock looking basic drawing of a little, like, bird dude, and that's in a lot of the panels of him just, like, looking at something.
Yeah, or him going through some shit, and you're like, it's like, how... Yeah, at first, you're like, how can I relate to this character? He's a fucking cartoon bird. And then you realize how much it's up for interpretation. And even though it's a basic drawing of a little bird dude, you see through the writing and how amazing everything is written that it's like, I know what Pun Pun's going through type of stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. Like manga is way easier to pull something like that off. I feel like an anime of Pun Pun would be just okay.
Yeah, I don't think an anime of it would be very good, just
Yeah.
because there's so much that's captured in the manga style that it would take a lot of budgeting and work to make that as good as it is. Like, yeah, Master of Otaku just said in chat, another example could be the Junji Ito collection.
Oh, I'm so glad that you brought that up, dude. Because wow,
Yeah,
that's just something that's like, yes, of course, everyone in theory would love to see Junji Ito's work in animation, and like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just they fucked that up, or it's just really hard to translate over the same horror that Ito's drawings show.
yeah,
But it's like, because one thing about Ito is it's like the writing isn't amazing. It's kind of just like top tier spooks, unless we're talking like Uzumaki or like Amigara Fault.
right.
But you try to give these little shorts for his short stories, and it's like I watched an Eye Patch Wolf video that was talking about what was so wrong with the Ito collection, and it's like, you can't translate over the importance of like the page turner. Like you see the dude's face and he's shocked at something, and then you decide when you hit up that next thing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, anime is like, well, we're just gonna hit you with this now, and it looks like, and the anime just fucked it up, man. Like
Yeah.
it's just it's so ugly.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that the Junji Ito collection is an example of bad animation that ruins good writing, and I think it's an example of how to not animate horror. On the other side of that coin, I'm a big Yami Shibai fan, and I love the Japanese Ghost Story series, and I feel like that is how a horror manga should be translated into animation. Because it's like the characters in that show, just even though they're not well animated as they could be, and they're almost as if they're kind of like cutouts for a what are those called, where you put like different things in a compilation. You would like cut things out of magazines and like put them, I forget what it's called. I used to do it in school all the time.
mhm.
But it's like, it does just look like a character that is cut out of a manga panel and put onto a backdrop and then almost like barely animated. But the atmosphere and everything that adds onto that and the actual storytelling of it just makes it such a good show to watch, and way more terrifying for me than watching Juji Ito collection.
It feels sort of like the Yamishibai is like almost visual novel esque.
Yeah. Almost, yeah, I'd say that.
Mm-hmm.
There are some episodes that are like, that style of animation can be kind of jarring, but there are some episodes where it's just like phenomenal. Like the episode with the kids where they're looking at the creature that's in one of the recordings of that tape they found, and like the dude just keeps getting closer and closer every time they look, or he like disappears. That shit, I don't think you could replicate in an anime and actually have it look as terrifying as it does in that show.
That's true.
So I feel like with horror, it's really hard to replicate horror manga through animation unless you just go with a solid black and white animation style that's like true to the manga. If you try to do like the colorful heavy line shit that like every other studio does for non-horror anime, then it's just gonna end up looking like the Junji Ito collection.
Yeah.
Plus, in my opinion, with the Junji Ito collection, since I am ranting a little bit here, so I'm gonna wrap this up. But with the Junji Ito collection, when you look at the stills of some of the characters' faces, like the one with the old woman, you look at the side-by-side comparison from the manga and the animation, it's almost as if the animation one wasn't as detailed as the manga one. It was like they didn't put enough effort into making it look as good as it could have in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We my friend Jeremy and I, one night we were like, "Oh, I heard the Junji Ito collection's out," and like he hadn't really read that much. In fact, like right now, I think is when he's starting to really get into Ito, and he picked up Uzumaki and stuff. But we decided to watch it, and I think we maybe watched half of the episodes that are out, and not a single one of them gave me even close to the same atmosphere as when I was reading them.
Yeah.
It's just an absolute bummer. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
And another example I'll give here, which isn't horror related, but like I told you, Magmel came out this season. It's an anime about another new continent rising from the ocean, and people going out and exploring it with all of this different kind of like fucking monsters and animals and plants on it that'll mess you up. That show, from what I have seen so far from Magmel, is kind of boring and the writing isn't that well done, but there are some parts of the animation, like some of the fight scenes, that are really well done. And to kind of inverse what I was saying earlier about animation quality being more important than writing quality, if your writing quality is just really, really bad, I also don't think animation quality will be able to pull you out of that.
Yeah.
Because the fight scenes were hype, but it wasn't enough to pull me in and make me want to watch the show every week. Yeah, it just the story is confusing. I know it's based on a manga, and you could just read the manga if you want the full story, but like the point in making an anime adaptation is to pull more fans in. And if your target audience is just fans of the manga and you're not pulling any more fans in, then you're not really doing a good job of expanding your fan base. The biggest example of that I can think of is the BlazBlue animation. That in canon takes place in the middle of one of the games. So if you're not playing the games and following the story, you watch that anime, the BlazBlue anime, you're gonna have no idea what's happening, and it's like you just can't do that. I don't think.
That's a super weird strategic decision.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of this, and I really don't want to trash anything. I have a couple examples I want to bring up, but this... Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So, Fairy Tail.
Okay.
That shit looks super good, right?
Yeah.
Like, the animation's, like... It was almost... So, I thought, at least, when I went in to watch Fairy Tail, that the animation quality was gonna be enough for me. Like, I was like, oh yeah, man, like, even if the story's not that great, like, I'm about it. Everything I had heard about Fairy Tail was it was time spent. Like, they're like, yeah, this show's just like, okay, I watched Fairy Tail and I don't have anything to note. So I was like, I think I could sign up to that. Fuck it. And I was like, I mean, if it looks nice, then whatever. I can have it in the background while I like read something on my phone or something. But man, it just sucks, man. The writing is just not very good. It's constantly doing the old let's have a comedic moment every 5 seconds, kind of like Akame Got Killed did. And it's like, Akame Got Killed just managed to be considered good by me. And it had a lot of those moments. So when I hit up Fairy Tail and was like, yeah, this looks awesome, but here we are. It's not good. It's like, that's irritating. And then another thing is, since I've been like, back in the day, I watched Soul Eater as like, whenever it was on or whenever a friend was watching it, like I caught the gist of a lot of what was going on. But recently I've been rewatching it, and it's like, I'm reading Fire Force right now. I don't want to trash the author for anything. Like, everything that dude does is dope, and the animation quality, once again, that's an 11 out of 10 show, Soul Eater. But that show, whatever they did in the writing for this, every Soul Eater episode feels like it's just all over the place. And like, I noticed that I'm not alone in this, because everyone on Twitter is like, I kind of just want a Soul Eater remake. And I guess like the people that read the manga were like, this isn't really what's going on in the manga. They drop off a lot of stuff. They use a lot of cop-outs. And it's like, man, I would love nothing more than Soul Eater's art style to match up to like a story perfectly, and get good voice actors in, get, better reasons for things happening the way they do. Stop making this fucking guy talk about symmetry.
Yeah.
And like, everyone overplays their tropes so much. Like, they're like, yeah, I'm this guy, so I'm gonna be this guy every time I talk. And I'm like, I get it. Stop.
Yeah, like,
get some help.
You don't need to sell me to like that character anymore, and the more and more that you push that trait on me, the more and more I'm gonna not like that character.
Yeah, it's just, it's such a bummer, man. And I think that, like, to a degree, animation quality is super important, but if you give me something that I'm like, I didn't think this was incredible animation, but the story was amazing. Like, if you give me a 5 out of 10 in animation, it's not as bad as My Sister, My Rider, but it's nothing that I'm like telling my friends like, dude, you've got to watch this because the animation through the roof. Like, if you give me a good story and there's not much to write home about on animation, like, sign me up. I'll push that. I'm trying to think of some examples right now, but yeah, like, it's not my biggest thing I'm looking for.
Yeah, and then you have shows that are just like horrible writing and horrible animation, like Skelter Heaven. Like we were talking about
That's
the other
just
day.
The worst example.
Or like literally anything directed by Sato Yoshiteru. Like, that dude just shits on anime. He shits on writing. We talked about it the other day. He's the Tommy Wiseau of the anime world. Yeah, man. Like, I feel like if you fail to have good animation or good writing, why bother? Like,
yeah,
at least hit your target audience in one of the two like main sections of anime. Animation or writing. It isn't that hard, man. Like, I get it if you have a half-assed story and you're like, this story's okay, but I want it to be, like, better. So you're just like, pour all of our budget into animation. The story will just kind of be half-assed, but the animation will at least be memorable. But when you're like, nah, fuck that, fuck animation, fuck writing, I'm just gonna throw out random shit that doesn't matter, you got a garbage anime, and I don't know why people would bother.
When you're that low on the totem pole, though, it's kind of just like, you are literally the Tommy Wiseau of anime. Like, people are watching your show because it's that bad,
Yeah.
Like, it's like, that this is so bad it's good type of stuff. And from what I saw of that episode, absolutely, that's 110% what the fuck that show is.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Tanigawa and Kaiji on a good example of, like, the animation is nothing. Nobody's saying anything amazing about that animation. In fact, some people say I can't watch Kaiji or Tanigawa because of the animation, right? But the story is really good. However, when you hit Kaiji season 2, the story gets kind of bad, and it's just him playing a pachinko machine for like 20 episodes. And it's like, at this point, I don't have anything nice to look at, and you've just been playing on a pachinko machine for 20 episodes, so that's going to be a mean 4 out of 10 from me.
Yeah. It's like Master of Otaku said, Darling in the Franxx. You have not groundbreaking animation, just okay animation, but it's done by Studio Trigger. So you're thinking, okay, this is going to be decent. The writing's pretty good. The story's pretty good. You're following it. The last 3 episodes, they throw it all out the window. So it's like, if you get lazy on writing or animation, you gotta have that good balance. And if you get lazy on either one of those, it can make your show between like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10 to like a 4.
It's noticeable when you put a lot of heart into certain parts of your show and not enough into other things. Like My Hero was even guilty of that, where it's like they put all of their time into the fight scenes, and then the non-fight scenes, it's like, I don't know, was this show made in 2004?
Yeah.
Like, I don't...
And it's like like we were talking about earlier, like, I love JoJo, the art style is amazing, and the writing is amazing, but you have a lot of times where...
well, there is a lot of plot holes. I would say the writing is, like, good.
Okay, the writing's good. If you follow it just, like, arc by arc, it's good, but then when you start looking into the plot holes, I feel you there. But mainly, my biggest thing is sometimes in the middle of an episode, everything will be beautifully animated, a whole episode, except for like 3 scenes where they're walking like in the middle of the screen and nobody has faces and you can barely tell that they were drawn at all. Like, they're just like almost stick figures with fucking colors fucking thrown on them. And I love JoJo, so the many good things about the series outweigh the bad, but that is one criticism that I have is they aren't really consistent with the animation quality. Sometimes it falls off halfway through an episode, sometimes it's just insanely good. And I don't think that's a bad thing. The lowest thing on my list, JoJo, I think I ever gave was part 1 was like a 7, I think. And that's the lowest any JoJo has hit for me. So it's not like gonna change how I feel about the series, but like, I feel like consistency is really important. And I get the whole like timelines and having to budget and things like that, but like, you gotta do more than minimal, at least.
You know? Yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm watching something completely different on some cases.
Yeah.
I also want to note things like unique animation's also important. I know that like at this point, you know, there's 30 shows plus a season, so it's kind of hard to be unique, and you also want to follow the source material as best as you can. But I really appreciate like Durarara. You know how if a character isn't important, they just kind of have an outline of themselves, and it doesn't look bad. It's actually like really, really neat. And that's something unique that you brought to the anime. Like in the manga, that's like that's kind of a thing, but it's not as big. It's, you know, with the color and how these are just black and white dudes. Like that's so cool. And then bringing in stuff like the Kaiji's nose. If you bring something new to the table, I'm gonna immediately respect the hell out of it.
Yeah. And it's another thing.
No, good.
Oh, another thing about Durarara, the thing that I really like about the whole character thing, designs, The normal people just being like gray people that don't have any importance to the story. A lot of episodes, if you just watch the background, you will see a character whose arc is either coming up or it already happened in the background of that exact location. So it's like, it really helps you like piece together where everyone is in certain situations, and I think that art style really, really helps the writing and supports it a lot.
Hmm. I feel like it's inevitable to bring up CG, even though we talk about CG all the time.
Yeah.
But I want to note that, like, I'm not against CG. We were talking about Land of the Lustrous earlier, and like, that's when you do it right. Or like, Psychopath decides to use CG sometimes at bad times, but it's all about derailing the story. Like, these Netflix adaptations that are all CG, man, they all look the same.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Like,
sure do.
you're CGing the same thing every single time, and it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like I would rather just not even have an adaptation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you're not, when you it just feels like the same series. I know you're trying to do different things with the story and whatnot, but like, there's so many high potential sources that you fucked up
Yeah.
just on this style that you're just trying to BS a series real quick.
Yeah, and that's another thing, right? Like, a show that I like and I respect a lot for how well it is written is Inuyashiki, right? But
Yeah.
the cutaways that they do in the middle of that show, where it swaps from normal shit to like CG shit, is just so jarring to me that it I don't know, man. Like, to me,
That's a tough thing, because like, the author himself did a lot of these, like, it's strange. It was like a sort of like 3D models in his art of the manga, if that makes sense.
yeah.
So it was like, I don't know if they were just trying to mimic that somehow, and just, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's fucking weird.
It's like they have that part where the old man's like got his body all messed up or whatever. Like, you know what happens. I'm trying
Yeah.
not to spoil anything, but the camera pans out and he's in 3D and it just shows his dog on the bed like drawn in 2D, and it's just so like the room is in 3D and the dog is just sitting there in 2D. Like, it
Yeah,
just looks so weird, man.
it's weird, and Gantz did that too, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's up with that, but it's, I can't stress how much we just talk about how derailing that shit is. Like, immersion is one of the most important things when it comes to anime, and when you hit me with something like that, I'd rather you just have like an average drawing of it
Yeah.
sometimes. Like the Zombieland fucking CG dances. Like, dude,
Yeah, like,
everything else is drawn.
Yeah, like, why did that have to be in there? The only reason I can think of Zombieland having the CG in there and having it look that bad is to parody, like, Love Live and stuff, because they do CG
Yeah.
shows. But it's never been, like, spoken about or expressed that that was a parody. For all I know, that was the direction they were going in, and they wanted to be serious, and they did that, and it looked horrible. But like, Zombieland Saga was still a pretty good show. So it's like, you know, like, I don't want to say the writing was good. It was decent. There were a lot of characters that got shafted, like we talked about in our last episode. But, like, just being decent on itself was like a 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you gotta do to make something that's at least a little bit enjoyable and doesn't feel like it's a waste of your time. You just at least have to make it decent. And there's just so many companies and so many like studios that want to do something fucking groundbreaking, like an entire assault on the senses, and make fucking what's it called? The the anime where it's just nothing but 3D, but it's like all fucking different types of art mediums, like all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but I didn't give it a high score. I'll tell you that. Yeah, you got shows that are just like, I don't know, man. It irks me so bad when a company or a studio doesn't care about the quality of their product and they just care about the brand.
Yeah, I think the more we've talked about it and the more examples we've brought up, I definitely think that I lean more towards good writing. So to answer the question, in my opinion, I would say no, because I think of things like My Roommate is a Cat, where it's like that story is phenomenal, but it's just okay as far as animation goes. You got like oh man, I just had a great example. I didn't like this show, but I know how many people did, and its score overall. But Agretsuko, like, look at that animation, man. It's like basic as fuck, right?
Yeah.
But like, the story is there, and I know what they were trying to do with the show, and I can at least appreciate it in that aspect. And it's like, honestly, I can say with confidence that when something doesn't look incredible, even Devilman, it's like some scenes with this art style, I'm like, okay, dude, like that. Why is your arm 8 miles long?
Yeah.
And it just looked bad, but like it's still a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Domestic Girlfriend, animation wasn't amazing, but the story was amazing. Like there's so many examples. And then when something there are way more shows that have good writing and average or bad animation that I rate high, instead of just, wow, this looked really nice, but nothing fucking happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I can kind of agree with that a little bit. I think it's a really tough question to answer, because you do have like examples we gave earlier, like Berserk, where the writing is there, the story is there, nothing in terms of the writing has changed, but the animation is so atrocious that you almost can't sit through it to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a tough one. I think it's they both rely on each other in tandem in order to make a good show. And if you lack one, it's not gonna be as enjoyable as if you had both.
Yeah, it's definitely way harder to say this is a 9 or a 10 when one of those factors are lacking.
Yeah. It's like with Devilman, like, the art style wasn't traditional anime art style. But
yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
It was different enough to be quality animation in its own terms. And I feel like if that's enough, and you can get me involved in a story without me absolutely despising the animation, even though it looks completely different from what I'm normally used to, and the writing is still amazing, then it could be a 10 out of 10, like, easily. But I also don't think that they could ever release for example, Berserk, they could never release a new season or reboot or series of Berserk and have it in CG by that studio and me give it a good score. Just because the animation is just that bad.
Okay, so let's go back to our original subject then. With this whole wave about One Punch Man, or I know we haven't jumped into Black Clover yet, but a lot of people are like, honestly, I just want Black Clover to go on a break because this studio is destroying my anime.
Yeah.
Like, would you say that if you were passionate about something and you got, like, let's say you are all about One Punch Man. I know we're kind of like on the fence about if we're really into it or not, but let's say you were as into One Punch Man as you are with Berserk, right?
Right.
What would you think about season 2 being almost significantly worse?
Well, in that case, with One Punch Man, I would still watch it, and I would probably still enjoy it because it's the same story, follows the source material, and the animation, while not as good as the first season, is still watchable.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
big
it's
issue,
not Berserk, that's
yeah,
for sure.
my big issue was Berserk was the old animation. I love old style animation, and the old animation of Berserk in Golden Age arc is really good, and
Yeah,
it meshes so well with the story. And when you go from something that is like masterpiece level of good and you drop the art style down to like 2000 CG on almost every scene, but then on top of that, you include 5 or 10 minutes an episode where things are hand drawn, so you know that they have the ability to do it and they just choose not to. That's when I get super pissed off, and I think they're using the wrong medium and it just looks ugly and I can't stand it.
yeah, that's fair. So
Yeah.
you think that like, if you were all about Black Clover, you wouldn't be like, man, I really just wish another studio had this instead of the Naruto dudes.
Another studio? No. I do agree with I think the Black Clover studio should take a break because from what I understand, Black Clover has not been a seasonal anime. It has just run like how Naruto was, where
Yeah,
they start out and they just keep pumping out episodes every week until the series is finished. And I feel like when you have a studio doing that much work over that long of a time, you do have people that stop caring about the quality of the show, or they stop caring about the direction that it's going. And I feel like you really just need a break. You need like a little hiatus, like even just a month. I think people can deal without having another episode of Black Clover for a month just to give your employees a little break. And
I think that continuous is, while it was a big deal in our childhood, I think continuous with the seasonal wave is a bad idea. I think that if you tell them we want 24 episodes, do spring and summer, and then we'll come back like spring of next year.
yeah,
Like, that's way better than just every single week, because then you have to take your losses somewhere. You know, you can't have 10 out of 10 content every single week for what's like, it's like 80 episodes or something right now.
yeah, and
Like, there's no way.
that's why I think My Hero Academia is so popular, is because it captures the same essence of storytelling that Naruto did for people who, when like we were younger, would watch Naruto and Dragon Ball and shit like that. It copies that same exact essence, but it doesn't overstress its workers and just have them do non-stop continuous. They release it by season so that the workers have a little time off a little time, a little downtime to refocus their thoughts before the next season comes out, and then you have like animation that actually looks good and even amazing in some cases, where and the writing doesn't really suffer either. Whereas in Black Clover, like we talked about countless times, there's so many episodes from what I understand that you have to watch where it's just not that good, and then it gets good, and then it falls off again because the studio stopped caring because it is a continuous show. So I feel like it really pushes on the stereotype of like Japanese worker has to work like 15 hours a day every day of the week nonstop without any breaks. And when, like we talked about in the last episode, when you get that much work put into a person like that, eventually they're just going to stop caring.
Yeah.
And it's like you have
So what happened with the Madhouse dude?
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to put some care into your employees so that they don't just like shit on your entire creation. So yeah, I think that if I were a big fan of Black Clover, I would 100% support them taking a break. I feel like the show should have been seasonal. There are a lot of people that watch anime who don't like seasonal anime, and it's because they want to just binge watch shit like nonstop. And honestly, man, I kind of feel like people that like continuous anime that doesn't have seasonal arcs or anything like that, I kind of think they're a little greedy and don't look at the overall picture. They don't look at the health of the workers who are actually making it. They don't give a shit about that. All they care about is that they get more and more and more and more of the show that they want. And I think that's kind of shitty. So,
it's the same people that we were talking about in our original Jump Force episode of like, we're in a world where you don't have to wait for something to show up on your TV. You can just watch. You can watch My Hero Academia over and over and over and over and over if you choose to, and then of course you're hopping online on Twitter and saying, "When's can I just have next season right now?" Or like the people that Travis Scott releases an album and then a week later they're like so burnt out on it because of their ability to just look up the album and listen to it whenever they want, that they're like, where's the next album?
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I have ran into seeing that stuff online for so long and so often now that I'd rather just wait for quality. Like I was seeing they completely scratched the Metroid Prime game they were working on. And they released a whole thing where they were like, we didn't feel like the quality was there, so we're completely scratching this. We're clean slating it. We're working on the game from the beginning. We're really sorry about this. And then people in the comments were like, what the fuck, man? That's not cool. And I'm just like, I mean, I'd rather have that when they feel like it's good than just spit out a game so that everyone can trash it.
Yeah.
You know, like, no, it's sort of like a nobody can be happy this type of thing. And a lot of people just expect inhuman things to go into these creations because they want it now.
Yeah, it's like with No Man's Sky, man. Like, they came out and showed that game at E3, and people were so riding the dick of that creator to get that game done at time. And he was just like doing revolutionary new shit that takes a while to do, and people were just expecting him to pump this game out in a short amount of time. What's he do? He rushes to get it finished, puts it out, everyone plays it, and they fucking hate it, and they shit on him for it. And it's like, it's the exact same people that were like, when are we gonna get this game? When are we gonna get this game? Tell us, it needs to come out now. It needs to come out this year, or else I'm not buying it. And then it's those same exact dudes that were like, nah, this game's shit when it comes out.
Yeah, it's like, okay, dude.
It's like a lot of people meme on Star Citizen for not coming out yet, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's a scam, blah blah blah. because it's been in development for like 10 years now, and it's still not out of alpha. Like, it is constantly being like updated. And you gotta understand, with games like that, that game is doing groundbreaking shit. They're trying to make an entire like universe almost where it's non-stop. You can go from any planet in the game to any other planet. Everything's procedurally generated. You can like interact with people. If you leave an item on the ground and then go away for a little bit and come back, your item is still on the ground. Like, it doesn't just disappear. There's so much cool, innovative shit they're doing to that, and so many people are just so upset that it's taken them this long. And I'm like, I would rather them take that time, like you said with anime. I would rather them take that time. If it takes 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, if you're making something that's groundbreaking and revolutionary and is going to change the game, take your time on it. Do whatever you need to do. Because I know when that game comes out and I play it, I'm going to be so much more enjoyed and immersed than if you rushed it and the shit was bad.
Right. Like, the thing is, with anime is not what it used to be, and there's so many fucking shows out there that if like Dragon Ball Super hit hiatus, and it's like, I'm not when it did, I mean, it was like, I'm not really that worried about that, because like there's so much other shit that I still need to watch and spend my time checking out. And it's like, that's the same with music and games. It's like, oh, Metroid Prime isn't ready? That's fine. I'll go play all of these other games that exist. Like, there's so much stuff out there that it's so stupid to be like, hey, Travis Scott, where's the new album? I don't have anything else to listen to, when there's so much content out there. It's just impatience and greediness. But now I guess we're kind of just going in a rant about this, and yeah,
that'd be a good podcast episode.
Yeah, for sure. I got a lot to say about that.
Nothing about the greediness of some anime fans, and how people don't give studios enough respect for the amount of work that they do.
Exactly. Because nobody's saying that Black Clover, nobody is praising Black Clover for being continuous over My Hero for being seasonal, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's no one out there that's like, oh, well, My Hero's better than Black Clover? Well, that's wrong, because Black Clover's been going on for 80 weeks straight or whatever.
And you know, the only people that would even argue that are the people that are greedy assholes that are
that don't have enough knowledge on the subject to even argue.
Yeah, or dudes that are like, you know, Black Clover gets put on hiatus and they're like, what the fuck am I gonna watch now? Black Clover?
Yeah, like,
there ain't nothing else to watch, man. Bring my show back right now. I'm so mad.
No Black Clover this week? What am I gonna do?
Yeah, dude. Like, I
don't know, man.
I hate people.
There's
like
a lot.
That,
yeah. Yeah, but I think we kind of touched base enough, unless you have anything else on animation quality over good writing.
No, I think we hit it off pretty good there.
I know we're coming up on another manga recommendation thing. I actually came up with a cool idea. I don't know if we're gonna do it, but I was checking out the new Young Cats and Shonen Jump that have like 20 chapters or less, and I thought it would be really neat if we did like I read half of them and Snorlaxicus read half of them, and then like we came in with a new wave Shonen Jump episode where we kind of like let you know what everything is going on with them, if you want to get into those series or not, because you know eventually they'll have their own anime adaptations and they'll be a big deal. And I don't know, I just started reading Chainsaw Man and realized it was Shonen Jump, and saw a whole bunch of other stuff that's that people have been pushing. And
yeah, that's a really cool idea. I'm super down to do that.
Yeah, so that, and then another manga recommendation. I've just been so into manga lately that I'm trying to chill.
You got
and
one of them,
keep up
like,
with anime because
you got like the manga open, reading manga while watching seasonal anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's me with Pun Pun right now, man. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'll be watching like the that new teacher shit, the teacher anime that was out. That's
Oh my
just
god.
nothing but fan service. I'll be reading Pun Pun and look over and be like, oh, she's getting a pill shoved up her ass, I guess. Okay, well, back to Pun
What's
Pun.
going on? Yeah, exactly. Speaking of, I guess around next week or the week after that, we do need to hit you guys with our seasonal first impressions. I'm gonna go ahead and say, um, other than a couple exceptions, it's definitely not what last season was.
Yeah.
I think I have a lot more bad to say than good, but there are some absolute gems, and I can't wait to get to you guys about that. Yeah, I think that's all I got.
Yeah, I just got okay. We have a Twitter now for Endless Boss Battle. You look us up on Twitter, it's just at EBB Podcast. Endless Boss Battle Podcast was too big of a Twitter handle, so they had to put the leash on us for that
They
one.
said chill out.
Yeah, they said chill out. You're gonna have to use your acronym. So we're the EBB Podcast now. So yeah, you can hit us up on Twitter there. I'm planning on still in the works of doing a giveaway. Really liking the idea of giving away visual novels on Steam. I also didn't know this, but I guess they have anime on Steam now, where you can just buy anime on Steam. So might be gifting some series that way. Thinking about doing some like little giveaways for like maybe some box sets, especially like with manga if there are like some viewers that are more interested in manga. It'll all just depend on the feedback we get on Twitter and things like that. Planning to be more active on the Twitter account. Me and Scuba both have the info for it, so we'll be posting a lot more, as well as our other normal Twitter accounts. Mine's just at Snorlaxicus and his is at Scuba Drop. Then yeah, that's about all I gotta say. Just keep on the lookout for giveaways and stuff, because I'm planning on giving some stuff away.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea. Need to be more active with everybody for sure.
Yeah.
So,
and we do have a Discord, which is going to be pinned on my Twitter. It'll also be on the Endless Boss Battle Twitter, and we'll put it somewhere in the description of the video for sure.
Yeah. So, for this week, that'll do it. Thanks for stopping by. This is Scuba and Snorlaxicus signing off.
Yep, see ya.
See ya.